Greetings and welcome, my friends, to this brand new nations guide here for Empire Total War Darth Mod. Now, previously, my previous channel, I did a number of nations guides for the main factions within the game, and I'm gonna bring that series back, but I'm gonna start it, my friends, on a different note here. This time I'm going to start them on the minor nations, the sort of the smaller nations that normally you can't usually get your hands on quite early on or at all. If you play the sort of vanilla or the standard sort of late or early Darth Mod campaigns. But if you go into the Darth Mod launcher and you select from the top of the menus campaign, and there'll be early, late, and then custom. If you just select custom and then start the Darth Mod launcher, and then sort of coming into Empire Total War, this is what you will get, my friends, when you click on Grand Campaign in the actual Empire Total War game. So you get a lot here of selections. You've got Barbary States, you've got Saxony, you've got Courland, Dagestan, all of the sort of minor nations you normally cannot play at all. They are usually out of your reach, but thankfully Darth Mod, through the custom settings in the launcher, has enabled us to get our hands on these fantastic smaller nations. Smaller nations in terms of the sort of their ratio on sort of when you're comparing them to France, Britain, Spain, because of course they were behemoths at those times. They were just gigantic. They were the superpowers of their times. And the smaller nations sort of, a lot of people sort of see them, or I myself saw sort of the Knights of St. John. I thought I'd love to be able to play those. Never been able to figure out how to do that until Darth Mod came along and just opened up this whole brand new, almost a brand new game for us, where you're looking at things from a completely different strategic and tactical viewpoint, because you are starting off as such a small base of power. The amount of sort of money and amount of thinking and time you're going to have to take to sort of achieve what you want using one of these small nations is vast, my friends, and I just absolutely love that challenge. That challenge really does get the old juices flowing, because I find it absolutely amazing when you've got sort of these gigantic sort of nations that just carving the world apart for themselves, and you've got this tiny small little nation that's just almost there. You're so insignificant to them, they don't even bother with you, and that is what I like about it. I like it that you sort of come out of the mists, as it were, and just strike hard, and they're thinking, where did you come from? That is what I love about this. So to start off on this brand new sort of nations guide, and there's going to be quite a few, because I'm going to do all of the smaller nations, and I'm going to do all the larger nations again as well. To start again, my friends, we are going to begin with pirates. Now, on one of my previous episodes of my nations guide, one of my old channel, I initially said that the Ottoman Empire was the most difficult nation to play in the game. My friends, I'm going to rescind that statement. I'm going to take that statement back, and I'm going to throw it away as far as I can, because this is the hardest campaign you will ever face. Pirates, my friends. Believe me when I say the Pirates Nations is exceptionally difficult. It will absolutely test your skill of everything you've learned in this game, everything you know about this game, everything you think you do know about this game. This takes it and just throws it away, and it throws you into the deep end, and it just says, learn to swim. And that is basically what it does. You start off with virtually nothing at all. You cannot underestimate, my friends, how much you don't start with. It is so little that it is quite breathtaking. But before we go any further, let's just start and let's have a look what you do actually start with the pirates, and then I can sort of show you where you can possibly go. Now, I personally I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, I tried pirates, tried to get a campaign with pirates going. I thought I'd have a look at it myself before maybe I did a series on it on YouTube, and I got absolutely thrashed. I hold my hands up and say I got absolutely wiped from the floor. I think it ended in about 6 or 7 turns or episodes. It just gone. So anyway, enough of that, my friends. Let's begin here where we can see where we actually start with. So the start, you start with Antigua, and you start with Trinidad and Tobago. These are your only bases of operation here in the Caribbean, and I cannot tell you, my friends, do not underestimate how quick that the major powers will come down on you like an absolute ton of bricks. I am not joking. Because despite how much they hate each other, so you've got Spain against a war with Britain, you've got Britain at war with Spain, you've got the Dutch against the Spanish, you've got the French against Britain, you've got the Dutch against the French. Nobody, and I mean nobody, hates each other more than they hate you as a pirate. They will absolutely come for you with everything they've got. They will throw 2-3 stack armies sometimes against you. So what are your options? Let's have a look. But as you can see here, you can't, when you start, you can't actually click. You cannot select any of these options at all, any of these buildings to build or do anything you want at all. And that's a sort of a little, not a glitch, but it's a sort of a little, just a slight problem you have with this nation being unlocked in the way it is. Pirates aren't usually available, and the way they've sort of got around it is to sort of have a slight way of, a sort of a weird way of being able to bring these sort of into your control, which I'll show you in a minute. But let's just have a brief look at the Caribbean as a whole here and what you're up against. As you can show, you've got Spain, which is absolutely dominant in this region, because they've got New Spain as their sort of their proxy here in this area. You've got the Dutch, who are exceptionally strong trading nation, and they've got some really powerful forces in this area. And needless to say, the British, my friends, who have not only 13 colonies pretty much under their belt, as it were, but they've also got these 2 bases in the Bahamas and the Jamaica, which are going to be used significantly against you. It really does. You've also got the French here as well, over in these 2 regions here and up here. So we've got very, very powerful nations right on your doorstep. You will not be able to do what you think you can do when you're playing the other nations, where you can just sort of sit by, keep yourself out of the wars, you know, build up your forces, build up your economy. That will not happen in this at all, my friends. You've even got a French sort of colony sat between you here in the Windward Islands. So what do you start with? Well, my best advice to you is the first thing to do is go to lists and get your fleets. So your fleets here, these are really your trump cards. These are the ace. These are your ace cards. These really are the one thing that's going to keep you alive for a considerable amount of time. Because as you can see, you've got this sort of fleet here, which is set up already to raid these trade lines. This is what you've got. You cannot trade. You cannot trade with everyone. Every single nation in this game is at war with you. You cannot get peace with anybody unless you're prepared to give something that they ask for. So Britain or France or Spain will come up to you, will offer you, and they will say to you, you give us the Windward Islands and we will give you peace. But they will not give you anything else. They will, if you don't give them the Windward Islands, in 2 or 3 turns later of you rejecting that offer, they will literally just come along with a 2 or 3 stack army, and they will just completely take it from you, and you will get nothing from them at all. So sometimes you just got to play it really, really strategically. You've got to think, if I give them this island, will I get some peace and quiet from that one nation who wanted it in the first place? And will it allow me to sort of build up my forces elsewhere and look to strike elsewhere? So as you can see, here's your first fleet. Your first fleet is here. And if I move it, there it is. It comes out of that sort of fog of war. And there it is. Now, raiding trade lines is your biggest way of earning money. You can raid these trade lines, and you must raid these trade lines, my friends. You have to do it. If you don't, your money will be almost zero the whole time. As you can see, you can get a lot of money from raiding these trade lines. Look how much United Provinces is pulling in from this trade line. Portugal, Mughal Empire, Maratha Confederacy, they all pull in a lot of money here. Literally, 10,000 gold just coming from this trade line. So if I raid this trade line here, speed things up. As you can see, look at that. You're already taking the United Provinces money there from them. You're already starting to draw that money, raid their lines, bring in that economy to you. This is the only way you can make money, apart from taking over other nations, other sort of colonies, other regions, and then sort of using them as an internal tax economy. Your internal tax, your tax income is the only way you're going to be able to make money, apart from raiding trade lines. You cannot even get money from going into a trade post. If I was to put this fleet into here, I would not get any line linking it here, because you can't trade. You cannot get any other money apart from raiding and from having your own tax, or your own empire, as it were, with its own internal tax revenue. That's the only way you can do it. So as you start off, you've got, like, look, the firepower here is 221, 88 men in here. The speed is 12. Hull strength is not brilliant. So these are very light, sort of small sail ships. Got some decent firepower on them, though. Don't overlook them. They've got high maneuverability. But if you come up against some of the real big boys here, the real superpowers, they will just absolutely crush you. So you have to either keep building up these fleets here until they are such a huge fleet that it keeps a lot of the nations away from you, and they don't want to engage you in these trade lines, or you keep moving these fleets around the different sort of trade hubs, raiding, then moving, then raiding, then moving, to keep sort of the enemy on the back foot, not knowing where you're going to be raiding. As you can see, you also start off with 7,500, absolutely virtually nothing compared to what some of the bigger nations get, which is 35,000. So you're starting off such a low economy. Let's have a look at another fleet here. We should have all of these fleets here. So we've got this fleet here, again, sat here ready to raid in the Ivory Coast. All of these are available to you. If I bring it out here, just click on the screen to bring it out of that fog of war. And as you can see, United Provinces, so this trade line here from the Ivory Coast is also, as you can see here, United Provinces has gone down from 6,000 to 4,000 because we're raiding them on the other trade line. So if we raid them on this trade line as well, as you can see, we're taking another 1,000 off the United Provinces. So we're raiding, sort of dual raiding this one trade line, which feeds through one theatre into the other. And as you can see here, 1,548 next turn from other. You can't get any trade income at all. This is all from us getting it from the trade. We are raiding these trade lines. That is where our main income comes from. Look at our tax income, 10. It is virtually zero. Look at your war with. Every single nation is at war with you. And you will never, ever get a trade partner. And you will very, very, very rarely get an ally. Very rarely. You are really up against it in this. You really are, my friends. And it will really prove your worth if you do manage to do this. So, and then you've got Federico Calais here with his fleet. 3 ships. Again, he's hidden in the fog of war. Just click anywhere and it'll bring them out of that sort of fog of war. Now, this East Indies is Dutch territory. If you keep your fleet here, the Dutch will attack you without a shadow of a doubt, my friends, because the Dutch have really got an iron grip on the East Indies. They really do value it highly. And here's their trade line here, United Provinces. They're the only ones in this area at the moment. We've got trade fleets in this area. So if I hit this here, it will bring out the Dutch with great force. My advice to you is to take this fleet and move it. Get it somewhere else. Either back up one of your other fleets somewhere else. So as you can use East Indies, I would probably go to the Ivory Coast and back up one of the other fleets. Double up your fleets, because they won't last long here. They will not last long in this region, believe me, my friends. The Dutch are extremely protective of this East Indies theatre. Let's have a look at another one. We should have another fleet here, I believe. We've got that one there, Jean Piraz. Now we come back sort of the home territories. Here are our fleets. We've got Charles Fleury, Benito Brasileño, and we've also got Balthazar Worley. So we've got three ships in each fleet here. Let's have a look at them. As you can see, you've got the Floyd here, 161 firepower, 88 here from the brig, and the sloop Liberty. Now, you cannot underestimate how important it is that you combine these 3 fleets together. So as you can see, but before you do anything else, the first thing I would recommend you do, my friends, is to take the fleet, the circle here, and go to your island, go to your territories. As you can see, once you do that, it then opens them up to you. You can then select your territories once one of the ships has revealed them. So I shall then move this one down to San Jose de Orania. There it is, Trinidad and Tobago. All of this is open to us now. Now we can select the units because the ships have revealed the territories. So, and we got another fleet here, 2 brigs and a sloop. I would personally get these raiding as soon as you possibly can, even if it's just United Provinces here. But eventually you want to get them raiding on this trade line here. It is the main trade line feeding all of them, or go up further so that you get these 2 include up here. So if you go up to about here, where all of these lines converge together in one line going up this way, that's where you get the most impact from raiding these trade lines. we should have one more fleet. Let's have a look, see if I can find it. There it is. It's over here in sort of the Gulf of Mexico. I would not leave it there. I would get your fleets combined as soon as is practically possible. I will just send this over here. Ah, you see, Spanish fleets, my friends. Spanish fleets, the absolute scourge of a pirate, and so are the British fleets. As you can see, look at all these trade lines you can pick off here. Very nice indeed. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to combine this here as well, just to show you that this will then increase the amount you're going to take from this trade line. So there it is. Look, the more ships you put on the trade line, the more money you take from that trade line. So if you've got a full stacked navy, they will draw a huge amount of income from these trade lines. It will practically drain all of the nations of their income from this, and that is what sets them on the path to trying to take you out. So with this fleet here, because we've tried to use it to sort of bring out our territories and our buildings, we've got to put them into port to keep them safe. And now, my friends, we can finally focus upon, so you've got no armies, just these fleets and these two regions. As you can see here, the tax income is 30.7, both 33, 35, between 30 and 35% here. But your income is down, look at that, down 11, and here down 15. So my advice to you is to really, really spend your money wisely. Really spend it wisely. You do have some shipyards here, and they can get you race-built galleons. Now these are super ships, really, really nice. Good hull strength, with good maneuverability. They're definitely something you want to definitely look at. But the galleon, my friends, that is absolutely the absolute backbone here. This is the real muscle of your fleet. Firepower of 277. It's got low maneuverability, but look at the hull strength. The hull strength is huge. It is 2,600, one of the biggest you can get in your fleet until you can probably take that over. Got the Floyd here as well with hull strength of 2,800, which is again a huge ship. But the firepower on this one isn't as sort of good as the galleon. The galleon really is the sort of the king here. If you were to combine these two together and some of the smaller sort of highly maneuverable ships, then you've got yourself a really nice fleet. But look how much they cost. 1,163, 1,027, a huge amount considering you only start off with 7,500, and as your income is only 4,325 only from raiding trade lines. You cannot get it from anywhere else. Your tax income is 10. You can't do anything with that at all. So I would, if it was me, I would sort of split this money up. I would probably put the money into getting a Floyd here and probably another one from this shipyard here. So again, I'd do the same here and put two of these into this fleet here, and then I would don't put any money into military governor's barracks. It's a waste of 3,000. It really is. You cannot do anything without troops, my friends, and buccaneers is the way to go. Buccaneers are brilliant. Sometimes you can mix them in as well with colonial militia, but as you can see, I would go buccaneers every time. Sort of an army of buccaneers, pirates swooping down on the enemy. Nothing looks better, my friends, but you can only build one at a time. This is the problem. You cannot build 3 or 4 like you can in the larger sort of towns and cities. We can build 3 or 4 units at a time. So you're basically going to have to produce 1 unit in each thing. So that's going to give you 2 units per turn. And I cannot underestimate, you do need a good amount of buccaneers to be able to take a territory. You really do. So my advice would be to either target the Windward Islands here and sort of bring this chain under your control, or build up a huge force, invest a lot of money and a lot of sort of time and patience and waiting, maybe even giving Antigua up or the Trinidad and Tobago up if that does happen and one of the nations come along and says, give us this or we're going to attack you. Even just to buy yourself time and maybe even go for one of the bigger nations. I, in mine, went all the way down here and sailed and took Mexico. I took New Spain. I took that out, took it for myself. It still didn't end well, but it was something. At least I got the trade, and not the trade, but the economy from these mines and from this quite a rich region here. Do not bother going up to these here. These are so heavily defended, so heavily fortified. You really want to be looking at the sort of smaller islands, even New Spain, maybe some of the Dutch colonies down here. I took these 2 first. after I took Mexico. So I took Mexico, then I came down here with another sort of half a stack army, and I took these two here. The gold and the sort of silver and the gem mines from here really will give you a decent income here. But remember, the Dutch will come for you, the French will come for you. It is such a difficult sort of campaign to really sort of advise you with, my friends. It's one where you just have to run with it. You have to have a plan, but plan in advance. Plan well in advance. Don't sort of dive into this campaign just think you can, like the British and the French and all that, have got huge forces. You don't have anything like that at all. You are starting from absolute rock bottom. Look, you cannot even research anything. You don't have anything to research. You literally have zero. You have no education. You have to go and take a city with a university, with a school, before you can even do that. And you don't even have any gentlemen to be able to start putting in to sort of increase the speed of research. You start with nothing, my friends, at all. You cannot trade. You will never have any friends. You can only raid trade lines to get money. Your tax income will only come from what you take. It is an exceptionally hard campaign, and I tip my hat to anyone who can really do, really sort of go far with using pirates. I would love to see a campaign where that happens, using the Darth Mod campaign, because it is exceptionally difficult. If anybody knows of anybody who's done it, I would love to go and see how they do it, because I would love to do this myself. And I think one day I'll probably just, take the dive and go for it and put one out there, just see if I can do it myself and put it out on my channel. And let everybody, sort of get the advice from everybody what to do. If any of you have got any advice at all on how to do this, what you would do, what you should do, if any of you have done it, completed this campaign, then I do tip my hat to you, and you are fantastic commanders to get it, because I was hold my hands up, I was thoroughly beaten by it. But anyway, my friends, that is pretty much it. As you can see here, your ministers here are pretty good, actually. You've got some pretty good ministers who do actually have quite a lot of good assets here, but as you can see, -10 diplomatic relations, -1 prestige. Your trade is just 0 because that's internal trade. A national summary, as you can see here, just gives you what the navy upkeep is. And remember, you've got to balance your navy with your army upkeep as well. You just can't sort of be, moving this around and throwing things around. You've got to keep a close eye on your economy as well, my friends. But that is pretty much all I can sort of describe at this moment, because that is all you start out with. You can't be diplomatic and sort of get friends and agreements and trade agreements and trade technology for money. None of that exists with a pirate campaign. You are basically on your own, and that is the greatest challenge in this game, bar none. But anyway, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this sort of nation's guide. There'll be many more coming along soon. At the moment, I'm at work, so I'm away at work with work. So I'll be back at the end of the week, where I'll hopefully be able to upload some of my larger campaigns. I'm just going to keep the nation's guides going, just to keep things going on my channel as well. And also, it's just great to get the feedback on what you think should be done, and your views and your sort of opinions on what should be done here. But anyway, friends, hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please comment, like, and subscribe. And there will be another Nation's Guide coming soon, of one of the smaller ones, maybe the Knights of St. John, which is one of my personal favourites to possibly try in the future. Please leave your comments down below. But until next time, my friends, and I hope you've all had a good weekend, and I hope you all have a good week. But until next time, my friends, bye for now.